All right, let's call to order the City of Bella Vista Planning Commission meeting. Call the roll, please.
Ellis.
Here.
Farner.
Here.
Plesson.
Here.
Sedberry.
Here.
Portillo.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
Lloyd.
Here.
All right, we do have a quorum. Next on our agenda is our regular meeting minutes from October the 13th.
I make a motion to be approved as submitted.
Got a motion from Farner,
Seconded.
second from Klesson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next up, we have our public input session. This would be an opportunity for anybody in the public to address the Planning Commission. For any published or unpublished item, this will be our only public input session for tonight. So if you would come up and state your name and address for the record, and we will give you 5 minutes to speak. All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close our public input session and move on to unfinished business. We have preliminary plat 2025-61139, a proposed preliminary plat establishing 23 residential lots known as Al Commons. Planner Hyatt.
Oh, and for the record, Ms. Lloyd stepped away into the public.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. This property is located in the southeast area of Bella Vista city limits and is Lot 1, Block 6 of the Duxford subdivision. Section 107-71 through 77 establishes the approval requirements for a preliminary plat, to which the applicant is proposing a preliminary plat, creating 23 residential lots with 2 common spaces for the Al Commons subdivision. Following the approval of the planned zoning district for Al Commons, again, this proposal takes the singular lot, establishing 23 new residential lots. Those 23 lots will be single-family units, complemented by 2 community building spaces. And the proposed plat keeps the existing drainage and utility easements along the outer perimeter of the original property boundary and creates new drainage easements between the outer residential lots. The PZD established 0 lot line setbacks, and the utilities were to be determined by the utility companies. The request does establish a new private road known as Al Loop to be maintained by their HOA that includes 50 feet of access easement with 24 feet of paved surface. The proposed 50-foot easement will also serve as a utility easement, and a 5-foot wide sidewalk will be established along the outer edge of Al Loop, and then transition to an internal layout around the interior community spaces of the development, which meets the intent of 107-250M. The fire chief and city engineer has approved the street grade. Carroll Electric had no additional comments at this time. Water will be served by the POA Water Department, and Village Wastewater will serve the sewer needs. No outstanding technical comments at this time, and due to the analysis above, staff does recommend approval of the request.
Any questions? Any questions for staff? If not, the applicant would come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and we'll let you add on to the staff report if you'd like.
Linda Lloyd, 102 Fairway Drive. I currently live on the property. I don't have anything to add to the staff report, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Any questions for applicant? If not, can I get a motion to approve preliminary plat 2025-61139?
So moved.
Got a motion from Farner,
Second.
second from Wagner. Call the roll, please.
Plesson.
Yes.
Sedberry.
Yes.
Farner.
Yes.
Portillo.
Yes.
Wagner.
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes. All right, you're approved. Staff will get with you on next steps. Next up, we move to new business. First on our agenda is large-scale 2025-58745, a 6-month extension request of a redevelopment of Town Center East. Planner Hyatt.
All right.
Sorry, we have to do this for the recording. Please let the record show that Linda Lloyd has joined as planning commissioner again.
Do you need me to reread that again?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
All right. As you all remember, in June, you approved the large-scale development for Town Center that would included a new retaining wall, and they were going to resurface the parking lot there. That was also tied to the remodel of the building in the area, the existing building, as well as removing the remnants of the old buildings. Due to several reasons listed in your letter that you see before you, they do need a 6-month extension. They're currently revising some of the architectural plans, and then also there were some modifications tied to those 2 projects with their mortgage. So unfortunately, the December 9th deadline probably wasn't going to be able to be met.
Any questions for staff? The applicant's present. Would you come up and state your name and who you represent for the record?
Jim Keith, Cooper Realty Investments.
You have anything you'd like to add to the staff?
I just, an apology for me having to be here. The date slipped up on me. I thought that it's my mistake. I thought we were moving from we got the final approval, which I believe was in September, and not moving from the June approval. So we did have, when we sat down and started working through our architectural, we had 2 different panels that both been discontinued, and so we're going back to make sure that architecturally we can deliver. We've identified our general counsel, our general contractor, and once we get everything done, we're ready to go. So hopefully after the first year.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, if not, can I get a motion to approve LSD 2025-58745?
So moved.
Motion from Portillo,
Second.
second from Sedberry. Call the roll, please.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Plesson,
Yes.
Sedberry,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Ellis.
Abstain. All right,
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have LSD 2025-58918, a 6-month extension request of the approved Razorback Greenway extension to Reardon Road. Trail Manager Workman.
Thank you. This project aims to extend the Razorback Greenway from Mercy Way, traveling north along the Little Sugar Creek. It will then turn west to pass under the Bella Vista Way Bridge located just north of Reardon Road, before heading south to the existing trailhead on Reardon Road. Key improvements include a 10 to 12-foot wide multi-use path, drainage improvements and overhead lighting within the corridor under the bridge, and an asphalt overlay of the existing trailhead parking lot. This project was previously approved by the Planning Commission earlier this year, and the applicant is here to request a 6-month extension of that approval.
Any questions for staff? If not, if the applicant could come up to the podium and state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
My name is Victor Durrell. I'm representing Trailblazers. We would like to request a 6-month extension. We're through the design process and working on securing funding. We expect that 6-month extension will allow us to get started on the project.
Any questions for the applicant? If not, can I get a motion to approve LSD 2025-58918?
So moved.
Got a motion from Farner,
Second?
a second from Klesson. Call the roll, please.
Sedberry,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Plesson,
Yes.
Ellis.
Abstain. All right, thank you, sir. You're approved.
Thank you.
Next up, we have waiver 2025-61698, a waiver request on pedestrian accommodation installation and retaining wall setback requirements for the previously approved large-scale Trails Manager Workman.
The subject site, known as Lot 1 and Lot 3 of the Anderson Heights subdivision, is situated south of the intersection of Oldham Drive, a subcollector, and Cunningham Drive, an unclassified street as identified by our adopted master street plan. Earlier this year, the Planning Commission approved the Oz Trails Bike Park, along with a waiver of Section 107-250M, which requires pedestrian accommodation installations for all new non-residential developments within the city. This waiver covered the sidewalk that was required along Oldham Drive, but now the applicant has returned for an additional waiver of this section for a 295-foot sidewalk that was required along Cunningham Drive. The applicant is citing existing steep topography and mature dense woodland canopy as the reason for that request. Additionally, the applicant is requesting a waiver of Section 107-342E2, which prescribes retaining wall setbacks from a property line for a retaining wall that is shown to encroach the shared property line between lots 1 and 3. The applicant is citing steep slopes, drainage, and site access challenges as the reason for this request. No public comments have been received. All staff comments have been addressed by the applicant. Should the Planning Commission approve the request, staff recommends a condition of approval to include the installation of a soft surface trail along Cunningham Drive in lieu of the previously required sidewalk.
Any questions for staff?
So the retaining wall is between lots 1 and 3?
Correct. So this will be
They own-
immediate,
They own both lots?
they do.
Any other questions from staff? If not, can the applicant come up to the podium, state your name and who you represent, please?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Taylor Lindley with Craft and Toll. Sorry, a little taller. So the two waivers requested, the one along the Cunningham Road for the sidewalks was discussed at the work session. We are agreeable with the staff recommendation for the condition of approval as a soft surface trail. But as we mentioned in our letters and in the exhibits, those trees are likely between 100 and 200 years old along Cunningham there, and just allowing for more flexibility with the trail connectivity along Cunningham makes sense in this request. So happy to address any questions there. Regarding the retaining wall, the property line that divides the main plaza area and the parking lot on the south side of the Australs Bike Park follows pretty closely to the drainage channel that runs, kind of drains the whole hillside there. We've got the big, large culverts and the head wall. In order to control some of the grades on the parking lot slope, the head wall needs to tie into a retaining wall that extends across that property line. As you mentioned, the property owner owns both sides, and obviously the parking lot and the plaza space crosses the property line already, and so we have no issues with the retaining wall crossing the property line, and we are maintaining the setback requirement off the highway. So I'll be available to answer any other questions you have related to that as well.
Any questions for the applicant?
Not for the applicant. Are we taking them separately, or is this a package?
That's up to you all.
Well, I don't care. I'm just asking. It's okay for me to do it together.
Okay. No objection. All right. Any other questions for the applicant? If not, can I get a motion to approve waiver 2025-61698 with staff recommendations?
So moved.
Got a motion from Farner,
Second.
second from Sedberry. Call the roll, please.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wyman,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Klesen,
Yes.
Sudbury,
Yes.
Ellis,
Abstain. All right, that, staff will get with you on next steps. Next up, we have waiver 2025-61561, a waiver request on retaining wall placement requirements for a proposed retaining wall at 98 Grandshire Drive. Planner LaRue.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So this property is located in eastern Bella Vista near Lake Brittany, Lot 4, Block 3 of the Dickenshire subdivision. The applicant is requesting a waiver of Section 107-342 to allow for a proposed retaining wall within the front retaining wall setback and easement. A previous wall had existed near this location and is contemporary with the construction of the house and was considered non-conforming. A large portion of the wall had collapsed in April of 2025. The applicant is proposing a new 6-foot-high wall running 60 feet along the front property line setback of 7.5 feet in lieu of the required 9.75 feet. Staff finds that the waiver may be necessary in order to preserve the cut topography between the right-of-way and the house. Strict enforcement of the regulation would otherwise locate the wall further into the interior, closer to the house, and increase the distance. The wall will then cross into the easement connecting with the existing wall. The proposed location would not be detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare, nor prevent any future subdivision of land. Staff would like to add that the street department had no comment on the proposal. There was no public comment at the time of the report, nor any outstanding comments.
Any questions for staff? Do we know what year this house was built in?
The house in 2010.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant present? If you would, go ahead and come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, Commission. My name is Stephanie Spivey. 98 Grandshire Drive is my home.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add to the staff report?
No, but I'm certainly open to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions for the applicant?
So you're just replacing the wall that collapsed?
Yes, so when the house was built, we built it from the ground up in 2010. We had no idea that it was actually within the easement. And so when we had the bad storm in April, to our surprise, most of our wall actually collapsed because of the way it was constructed. And so we found out that we had to move the wall out of the easement. And so there's that little jut right there that we need to have to support the current wall and to bring it out to support the new wall. And that's the part of the waiver that we're looking for.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, if not, can I get a motion to approve waiver 2025-61561?
So moved.
Got a motion from Sedbury,
Second?
second from Farner. Call the roll, please.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Plesson,
Yes.
Sudbury,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes. All right, your waiver's approved, and staff will get with you on next steps and permits.
Thank you so much.
You bet, thank you. Next up, we have waiver 2025-61555, a waiver request on retaining wall placement requirements for a proposed seawall at 17 Evington Drive. Planner Grady.
Good evening, thank you.
Good evening.
This property is located in the southwest area of Bella Vista city limits along Loch Lomond and is located on Lot 9, Block 6 of the Evington subdivision. The applicant is requesting a waiver to Section 107-342E2 setback requirements to rebuild an existing seawall along Loch Lomond. This section of the code requires retaining walls to be placed a minimum of 7.5 feet or 1.5 times the height of the wall, whichever is greater, away from the property line. The applicant respectfully requests a waiver from this section of the code to reconstruct the existing seawall from property line to property line along Loch Lomond. The current cedar seawall, which spans the full length of the property, has effectively controlled shoreline erosion for years, but has deteriorated and now requires replacement. Although the current code mandates a 7.5-foot setback, this requirement is set to be removed with the revised code effective December 1st of this year. The applicant seeks approval to proceed during the upcoming lake drawdown period, which is an optimal and limited time opportunity for the shoreline construction. The proposed seawall will follow the existing footprint and be professionally engineered to maintain hydrostatic pressure and reduce sedimentation into the lake. Reconstructing it in its current configuration will preserve shoreline stability, protect adjacent properties, and serve the long-term interests of the Loch Lomond community. Maintaining the continuous lot line to lot line design ensures a consistent and effective erosion control system across the shoreline. The waiver request meets all 4 criteria for approval. Special site conditions exist, including the deteriorating seawall, erosion risks, and time-sensitive construction window. Shoreline protection is a substantial property right necessary for the reasonable use and value of the land, and the engineered solution protects public health, safety, and the environment, and the project maintains existing conditions without interfering with adjacent properties for future development. There have been no public comments and no outstanding technical comments either.
Any questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Yes, if you would come up and state your name and address for the record, and we'll let you add on to the staff report if you'd like to.
My name is Wendy Wickersham. I'm the homeowner at 17 Everton Drive. I don't really have anything to add other than just to reiterate that it is just a timing issue. So this will go into effect 12/1. We're just asking for that to be a little bit sooner because of the drawdown time and then the weather limitations.
All right, any questions for the applicant? All right, if not, can I get a motion to approve waiver 2025-61555?
So moved.
Got a motion from Lloyd,
Second?
second from Farner. Call the roll, please.
Wagner,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Plesson,
Yes.
Sudbury,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes, your request is approved, and staff will get with you on next steps for your permits.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have waiver 2025-61559 and large-scale 2025-61558, both for a proposed development at 401 Northeast Town Center Drive, more commonly known as Domino's Pizza. Planner Hyatt.
All right, thank you. Again, this property is located in the north central area of Bella Vista in the Town Center subdivision. Development Code Section 107-250M1 establishes pedestrian accommodation requirements. Section 107-342E1 states a retaining wall shall be placed a minimum of 10 feet or 1.5 times the height of the wall, whichever is greater, away from the existing or proposed structure. Section 107-342E2 states that a retaining wall shall be placed a minimum of 7.5 feet or 1.5 times the height of the wall, whichever is greater, away from property lines. And then Section 107-162 sets forth review and approval requirements for large-scale developments. The applicant is requesting waivers from those three sections of code alongside the large-scale development approval for a proposed Domino's Pizza and retaining wall along the southern side of the existing town center shopping center. The site is Zone C3 Central Business District and is within the current town center development. The pre-platted lot is plus or minus 0.7 acres, and the proposed development will consist of a 2,135 square foot building with 14 parking stalls. The parking lot will include 2 ADA spaces and bike rack. This Domino's concept does not include any internal dining space, so the development is designed as carry-out only and includes a drive-through pickup window that wraps around the building. 2 access drives will be created along the eastern side of the development, accessing off of Town Center Drive, which is a 32-foot wide access easement. Due to topography, a retaining wall will wrap around the site, and because of the size of the site and height of the wall, separation requirements are not being met. Additionally, a waiver has been requested for pedestrian accommodation requirements. The applicant cites topography, drainage, and utilities as hardship for constructing the sidewalk along the street frontages. Instead, the applicant has provided sidewalk directly to the site via an existing path that will further establish a mid-block crossing away from the existing crosswalk pad that has been previously established at the light on Lancashire. Staff has expressed concerns about the promotion of the mid-block crossing, and the applicant set up a meeting with RDOT to discuss further work in their right-of-way. Per the master street plan, the site is surrounded by major arterials to the north and west and recognizes the access easement as an unclassified residential street to the east. Again, a meeting with RDOT took place on November 6th, where the sidewalk connection along Lancashire was discussed. In that meeting, RDOT deferred to seeing a proposal for the work before providing a determination on if they would allow any necessary work to establish that sidewalk along the road frontage of Lancashire. The applicant is working up a proposal of what the improvements would look like to have RDOT review. But due to the analysis above, staff still has concerns regarding the pedestrian accommodations and will want to see the comments from RDOT. So at this time, we recommend tabling the request until the December 8th regular meeting.
Any questions for staff? All right, if the applicant's present, if you would go ahead and come up and state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
Kip Williams, one of the civil engineers working on this with OWN, with the applicant. I think part of our emails and conversations with RDOT up to date, and even during the meeting that Christopher mentioned, RDOT has voiced concerns with the improvements needed to establish the sidewalk along Lancashire. They showed that they're not interested in retaining wall improvements within their right-of-way. They've noted in email and during conversations their concerns with the amount of utility work relocations happening within RDOT right-of-way, the drainage improvements necessary, review and design necessary to make this sidewalk meet current ADA and RDOT regulations. Also, they've noted that curb and gutter would likely be necessary to establish sidewalk at this location if possible, along with the other concerns they've noted, and that typically they do not like curb and gutter on random sections along their right-of-way. This would be the only curb and gutter along that length in that area for a long stretch of road. And then we have provided a more detailed concept than the ones that we previously provided to RDOT, noting some more detailed design, and today they've given us some additional feedback into the previous concerns that the improvements across Lancashire to the north would also need to be improved on the other side of Lancashire, and the sidewalk, in order to maintain ADA compliance, would have to extend well beyond their right-of-way to maintain a connection, because they have a concern as well with the lack of connectivity on both sides of our street. And it's our opinion too that creating this access that goes well beyond the scope and scale of this project currently would also encourage use to areas that there's no connectivity on either side of it and can create dangerous conditions. And that's RDOT's biggest concern, is safety. And not only that, but just the amount of improvements that go well beyond the size and scope of this project just to make this right-of-way sidewalk possible. Even the existing connection that we've tried to coordinate with staff on maintaining and make ADA compliant, that's diagonal. RDOT stated during that meeting as well that that has to be removed, and does not meet their current RDOT ADA standards or regulations. And they noted that, they voiced that this would be a significant undertaking to make this happen, and the amount of time and coordination with them and design necessary to establish this is just well beyond the scope of this. And we're just, even the exit ramp on the west side, I think though that one does it, we've coordinated with staff, and I think this is the only part of the waiver and request as far as we're aware that staff is really wanting. And I think between the original expectation RDOT had of this sidewalk till now, there's been changes in regulations, and we just see it as a big undertaking that coordination that may have to be more something that's a part of a future corridor improvement, and not something with this development to create unsafe conditions, or talking hundreds of feet of utility relocations, pedestals, light relocations on both sides, additional lights. The list goes on and on. Not including the time it takes to do that. So kind of long-winded there, but if y'all have any questions, we'd be happy to answer and discuss and look into it. But we've gotten a lot of feedback at this point that we think the end result's inevitable at this point, and we don't want to delay any further to continue designing on something that is just beyond the scope of this.
Yeah, how would you all feel to a fee in lieu of construction?
I think we would be very open if it's, I don't know the standard for that, if it's based on the square footage of linear sidewalk of frontage. We would be happy to entertain a fee in lieu of a typical sidewalk design where it would be feasible. That makes total sense, and we'd love to help out there, and we'd love to, sidewalk if we could. It just, right now with the improvements needed all within the right of way, it's just a lot. Probably, and then RDOT's disinterest in the amount of it would take to do that as well.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I mean, I would say I would agree, like, that's a large undertaking.
I do too. I mean, that's what I think.
I mean, it's like he said, that's what, goes well beyond just the development of the site. That's an entire intersection rework.
It's not it's an interchange.
Intersection. Those words are interchangeable.
Depends on who you ask. If you ask RDOT, they would disagree with you. Any other questions or comments?
Well, I'm not clear on what's being proposed on that sidewalk issue on Lancashire. Has RDOT gotten back to you?
So we sent a more detailed exhibit today, and this was between the meeting that happened toward the end of last week and now, and they've given feedback. They haven't been able to do a more detailed look, but they have said that it would take improvements to the northeast intersection, the other side of it, and then the sidewalk beyond that to connect somewhere, because right now they see it as there's no connectivity on either side of this proposed new sidewalk that they've established.
It's one of those things where I know we don't like to grant waivers on sidewalks, but if the client's willing to pay it, or the developer's willing to pay a fee in lieu of, for the city to use at their discretion, I think they're meeting the intent. And this being like I said, basically an interchange, it's going to require significant more work in order to make it work.
I understand that. That's we talked about it at the work session, and I wasn't clear what RDOT's position was.
I'm not going to speak for RDOT, but I've seen other instances where they've denied this request.
Can staff ask a clarification question? Since we spoke last week, I am also still unclear as to what you're saying. So are you saying that you sent the concept design that we requested to prove there's a hardship to RDOT? They just haven't responded to that yet?
We've sent a more detailed concept, and they did respond saying that there's,
Do we have a copy of it?
No, we just got that
Okay.
on,
That's what,
we finally got the response on the way here.
Gotcha, okay. So
So-
we were unclear on that.
Yeah. And, part of their response is RDOT likes to say, they never like to say a definite no until we go through a full design, and they've stated that this would take significant drainage analysis, rework there, and different aspects of it. And really what they voiced in their response to this was in addition to the previous concerns they've had, which was that this work would likely trigger the northeast corner of the intersection to be brought to current RDOT ADA standards, which includes pedestrian signals and likely taking the current ramp on the northeast corner and extending it beyond the right-of-way, so whereas currently both are just a crosswalk to nowhere. And part of the packet to an email thread, they voiced that currently RDOT would have an interest in retaining wall structures in addition to all the utility route locations and the other things that were listed. So it's been voiced that they're going, they have significant concerns, and they voiced even during that meeting that it would be a large undertaking to that effect of the amount of work needed to do this. And this all goes back to the scale of the scope of our project currently, the amount of right-of-way work to make this happen.
How much frontage do you have along Lancashire?
I think if I recall, it was 100 and maybe as much as 150-ish linear feet. I would have to check to be certain on that, but that's a good ballpark, I feel.
I can't read the survey, so I can't really tell if this print's too small.
Would you help me understand what the fee in lieu of is, please?
Yeah, basically it would be, instead of actually building the sidewalk, they would pay X number of dollars per foot of street frontage along Lancashire, and then the city would take that money and apply it to building sidewalks somewhere else.
Okay, but who sets the number?
I think there's some general practices out there that could be utilized to come up with that.
And it's typically like an amount that it's agreed to with the director or city engineer.
Gotcha.
With the project engineer.
Okay.
Scroll down a little bit more, if you would be so kind. Keep going. There you go, right there. Yeah, about 151 feet it would look like.
So this is one of those situations, we'd love to do the fee in lieu on this, just because that would be typical of a standard development of, the cost to make these improvements, that represents that. It's one of those things, normally in all these projects, we'd love to establish sidewalk. It's just this starts going beyond, and to make that happen for 150 feet of sidewalk and connectivity on both sides not established. We see this more something between the city and RDOT in the future to kind of the corridor improvements necessary to establish the right connectivity and improvements. RDOT standards have changed, and the old improvements they've had currently established there aren't up to their standards now.
Well, my concern is that there is that wonderful crosswalk light. And it seems like there ought to be some sort of sidewalk path or something to get from your property down to that, to get down to that. And that's kind of frustrating to me, that there needs to be something there. If they're gonna take that light out, that'd be something else, but the light's there, and I think we ought to have access to it.
That's part of what RDOT said is currently not at their standards anymore. That would have to be reworked.
sorry?
RDOT's stated to us that intersection, that light, and how it's put together right now is not up to their current standard.
It's not what?
Up to their current standard and ADA compliance.
In order to do what you're speaking of, Commissioner Farner, it would require the reconstruction of that entire intersection. Right now, it cannot be done and meet ADA or PROAG or RDOT standards. RDOT's not going to officially comment on that until they submit a design for that, which, quite frankly, they're going to have to hire a sub-consultant that actually does RDOT engineering work to do that, and it'll still probably get denied unless they agree to rebuild the entire intersection.
Right, the construction outside of this lot is solely based on RDOT approval.
Yep, that's right.
If we do grant a waiver for this, is that existing 5.5 foot concrete sidewalk gonna get taken out?
RDOT's voiced they want it removed. Technically, I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna go, because it's in the right of way.
Yeah, if you're not asking for a permit from RDOT, they can't make you remove it.
Exactly, so
it's
I
kind of one of
think
the don't ask, don't tell thing.
if we're not doing anything, we probably won't touch it, but if we were getting improvements done within their right of way, and they may require as part of that, if we need a permit from them, to remove that. So there may be potential for that.
I'd like to see it so that people aren't encouraged to use it, because I think it's unsafe, because it's just going diagonally out into the street.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
If
what
it
we
can't be
always-
removed, if RDOT's not gonna let you remove it, I don't,
I think RDOT
They,
would
they,
definitely let you remove
they
it.
want us
Well,
to
yeah,
remove
that's
it,
true.
and we agree that that intersection diagonally is not safe. We try to maintain existing as much as possible, since we couldn't do the other improvements, but RDOT wants it removed. So if the city feels that it's unsafe and y'all also want it removed, which we agree, we can make that a part of the condition and scope if that's something the city wants to entertain as well. In addition to the fee in lieu for the sidewalk that would be for the frontage.
I'm fine with that, yeah. I just don't want, like, especially like the plans you have shown here, it shows connecting to that, and that's just gonna encourage people to use it, and I don't think it's safe to
Yeah.
use like that.
And we'll still propose a sidewalk connection from our site to the right-of-way boundary, and have that removed. That way, when a future connection is made by the city or RDOT, and in the future, that connection is there and established within the private side property of it.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I just think we've got an applicant who's trying to go above and beyond to provide the proper pedestrian accommodations and is being shut down at every step and being asked to do things above and beyond their responsibility.
Okay.
So basically, you're citing reasonable nexus.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we're gonna take these in two separate votes since there's been so much discussion. So we'll have a Part A and a Part B. First up, we'll do the retaining wall. Can I get a motion to approve waiver 2025-61559 concerning retaining wall placement requirements?
So moved.
Got a motion from Lloyd,
Second?
second from Sedberry. Call the roll, please.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Plesson,
Yes.
Sudbury,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes. All right, Part B, can I get a motion to approve waiver 2025-61559 concerning pedestrian accommodation requirements along Lincolnshire Drive with the stipulations of providing a fee in lieu of and removing the existing crossing?
So moved.
Got a motion from Farner,
Second.
second from Portillo. Call the roll, please.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Plesson,
Yes.
Sudbury,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes. And then finally, we have, or do we need to do more on the large scale? Or are we good on the large scale too? We need to do a report on the large scale?
He gave the reports together.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions on the large scale for the Domino's Pizza? All right, if not, can I get a motion to approve large scale 2025-61558?
So moved.
Got a motion from Plesson,
Second.
second from Farner. Call the roll, please.
Plesson,
Yes.
Sudbury,
Yes.
Farner,
Yes.
Portillo,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Lloyd,
Yes.
Ellis.
Yes. You'll get with staff to get that fee in lieu of approved and then send them that email from RDOT just for the record. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, appreciate it all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That finishes our new business for tonight. Can I get, do we have any committee reports?
None at this time.
All right, do we have anything for open discussion? All righty. Announcement, City Council work session will be on Monday, November the 17th at 5:30 PM with their regular meeting on Monday, November 24th at 6 PM. There will be no planning commission work session for cycle 12 due to the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm not coming here on Thanksgiving evening, don't know about you all. But the Board of Zoning Adjustments meeting will be scheduled for December the 8th at 4:30 PM, directly followed by our planning commission meeting. And with that, we stand adjourned. Appreciate the staff